Good morning, church family. This is Pastor Billy coming to you with your weekly update on your weekly newsletter. A couple of things to discuss. This week is actually a pretty quiet week for our church. Not a whole lot of activities going on, but May is going to be an extremely busy month. So I want to go ahead and kind of look towards May a little bit and then talk about a couple other things as we look towards the summer months. But May 4th, which is not this Wednesday night, but next Wednesday night, be the first Wednesday night in May. We'll have our men's and women's groups separate on that Wednesday night. The women have been working extremely hard on some things for our local schools. We were presented with an opportunity this year to share love and encouragement with our teachers in our local schools. And this is a great opportunity, and you never know. You guys know just as well as I do that sometimes a card in the mail at the right time can feel like an angel from the Lord. And our ladies are working very hard, writing cards, doing thoughtful gifts for our teachers. And so I hope that those of you who aren't necessarily taking a direct role in that will at least pray. God can take a card and turn it into a miracle in somebody's life. These things, you never know how God can use them. And so it's an opportunity. And so I want to say thank you to our women's ministry for what they're doing and how hard they're working. Anyways, that May 4th is a Wednesday night that we'll meet, and you guys will be working on that. And we'll be going on May the 10th, which is Teacher Appreciation Week, to the schools to take care of this stuff. And that day we're going to be feeding Armuchee Middle School breakfast, the teachers and staff. And so I know some of you are planning to help with that as well. So a lot of good things happening there. May the 8th is Mother's Day. You guys know that we have baby dedication and child dedication that day. Of course, we will have a giveaway or two to recognize some mothers in the room. And I'm looking forward to Mother's Day this year. Hopefully, we're going to finish up our study in Ephesians this Sunday. And then on Mother's Day, I'll have an opportunity to do a Mother's Day sermon, which is always a nice thing. So we got that on Mother's Day on May 15th. The following Sunday, Shane Hood is going to be bringing the word in our Sunday morning service. So y'all please be praying for Shane. I know that I've tried to keep you guys updated as to what's going on with him. Shane is just an amazing fella. Shane grew up in church. He gave his life to the Lord at a young age. He got away from the Lord. And of course, you guys know that God used COVID to bring Shane back to the Lord, to a closer walk where he should have been, and really ignited Shane's passion to serve the Lord in ministry, and Shane's doing exactly that. So I ask you guys to pray for him. He's making some good gains in our children's and our youth ministry, and things are going well. It's really an organic work. I had a blessing when I came to Floyd Springs as youth pastor that there were more children, there were more young families, more youth than we had in recent times, but it's growing. And I know you guys can look around and see that. So May 22nd will be Graduation Recognition Sunday. I had somebody ask yesterday, does this apply for adults or college students? Absolutely. Education is an important thing, and it's a milestone. I know there are some people who may be the first in their family to graduate or to go to college. And we want to recognize those things and celebrate those things with you. So May 22nd is graduation recognition. If you know somebody that's graduating, please let us know. I think at this time I've got three candidates or three people who are graduating that's been mentioned to me. And so we'll be celebrating with those guys. Of course, then May 29th is Memorial Day weekend. We'll be taking time that day to remember, memorialize those who paid the ultimate price for our nation. And so May's a busy month. Once May gets past us, we start looking to VBS, which is this summer. I told you guys we've already ordered some curriculum. We've got some things coming in, and we're working on that. And so you'll be hearing more about VBS. You guys certainly know that most of you know that we approved a search committee for our worship leader choir director position. And I meant to say something during Sunday morning service this week. We are going to begin that process of looking. And I know there's been some people going, kind of thinking, well, what does this mean? What does this look like? Here's what I do know. There's 23 churches in our area without worship pastors. It's other counties besides Floyd County, but just in the area. Worship leaders are hard to find, and it's certainly hard to find one that leads a choir. You may or may not know this, but there's probably 15 churches or less left in Floyd County that still use a choir. And because of that move in churches away from a choir, most worship leaders do not work with a choir. So I had a meeting with the choir yesterday. We are going to continue to use them. We want them to be in the choir lofts. We want them to be leading, still doing a choir special from time to time, and continuing to practice. And so we're going to try to keep them going. I think it's going to be extremely hard for us to find an interim in this time. And so we're going to kind of piece this thing together. Between volunteers in our own church and the band, our choir, and just get it kind of go by week to week. We may from time to time find somebody like Caleb, who was with us yesterday and will be with us through the month of May, to help us for a few weeks at a time, give our people a rest, a break, at times. So that's kind of how we're heading into this. I'm going to be contacting that search committee sometime this week and getting them started. So we've got that piece moving. And then, of course, VBS, I mentioned a while ago, coming up in July, which is our big summer outreach. Shane has got some things planned for the kids and the youth this summer. And so it's going to be an exciting time. And then the last thing I'll mention is yesterday in business meeting, we did take a chance to talk about the sanctuary renovations and things of that nature. We'll be getting with that committee, and now that they have a little bit sense of direction on what the church thinks as a whole, we'll get them pointed in a direction and hopefully get back to you guys in the next few weeks with a proposal. And then I do believe we will be doing some sacrificial offering Sundays to help with the cost associated with the sanctuary. So there's a lot going on. I was just sitting here this morning running everything through my mind for this week and next week, and it's a little bit overwhelming. In fact, at times a lot overwhelming. But you know what? It's exciting. And I know this video is going longer than I normally do, and I'm shooting it today for this very reason. You guys know about Nancy and Bill and the things that they've encountered in the past few days, and others in our church who are hurting and suffering. And I've talked to several people, and I don't know if it's because I'm preaching spiritual warfare, but I think when you go through that study, it makes people more aware. We become more alert to those type things. And I've heard more and more people over the past few days say, man, we're dealing with it. We're dealing with it. Spiritual warfare is, I believe, a part of the Christian life. It certainly comes in waves, but I think Satan does his best to cause us to stumble, to fall, to not be effective for the Lord at all times. And then I certainly believe that when a church is doing things for the Lord, that he ramps that up. And so for me, on a 10,000 foot view of our church, here's where I'm at. I've been somewhat a little discouraged because baptisms have been slower this year than they were last year. But then I take a step back and I look at our church, and I'm incredibly happy and pleased with where we are. David Ford left our revival a few months ago, and he told me when he left, he said, Billy, you've got to get the men of this church back together sometime, at least once a month, praying. Well, then organically, this Wednesday night, the first of each month, has come to where the women are meeting together and the men are meeting together. And as men, we're taking time to pray. This month, we're going to start looking at a portion of Kingdom Man by Dr. Tony Evans on that Wednesday night. So we've got our men meeting in that way. Our men recently had their first big outreach type event in recent years. Chris Dehart planned that. We had a number of men at that were visitors who came. You've got our breakfast that our men did, and it was a pleasant thing to look around this year and see new faces involved in that. Our women's ministry has really gotten fired up and really gotten active this year. Certainly doing new things, reaching out and doing things for the Lord. Our children's ministry, our youth ministry is making some good strides. There's multiple men in our fellowship who are working out their call in ministry to serve the Lord. There's women talking about Bible studies and small groups, and there's so many things that are happening. There's people who want to go on some mission trips. I've been talking to Mission House, which is an organization about finding a place for us to get plugged in. You've got the mission opportunity in Utah. And so why am I saying all this? Our church is showing right now its heart to serve the Lord, and it's put in action to that heart. And I believe with all my heart that Satan sees that just as much as God does. And Satan is and will try to discourage and attack. He will twist words. He'll do things. He'll get in our heads and our hearts and just kind of mess with us. And so I just want to remind you guys, we've been going through the armor. This Sunday we talked about the sword of the Spirit, the Word. God loves you. You fight a defeated foe. And you need not be afraid or worried or dismayed. Just remember that we're not fighting against flesh and blood, but principality and powers. And we fight this battle in prayer and in the Word. And so I love you. Our church is doing great and wonderful things. I'm incredibly honored to be the pastor. And I don't use the word very much, but I'm proud of what our church is doing right now. I'm humbled by it at the same time. It's incredible. So I just want to share that to encourage you. And I want to say that I love you. You guys are amazing. And we are going to see great things happen in the Lord because of you all and what you're doing. And so I love you. Marianne loves you. We're here. If you need us, let us know. But I just wanted you to know that today. Be encouraged. And always remember, you don't fight for victory, but you fight from victory. God bless you. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.